herself staring at the faded photograph of her family, the smiles frozen in time, a painful reminder of what she had lost. The sun, a pale yellow disk in the overcast sky, began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across her living room. The house grew colder, the silence more pronounced. Evelyn sat there, alone, the weight of her 80 years and the ache of her abandonment pressing down on her with an unbearable force. She was, in every sense of the word, utterly alone, a forgotten relic in a world that had moved on without her. And she didn't know how to keep going. She closed her eyes, a single tear rolling down her wrinkled cheek, her heart heavy with the weight of a family's cold act. The days that followed blended into a monotonous cycle for Evelyn, each one mirroring the last. The visiting nurse, a young woman named Sarah, was the only human contact Evelyn had beyond the occasional grocery store visit or bank errand. Sarah's visits were brief, focused solely on medical checkups and medication, but even those fleeting moments of conversation were something Evelyn looked forward to. She'd often try to engage Sarah in light-hearted chats about the weather or local events, her voice tinged with a desperate yearning for connection. Sarah, though kind, seemed burdened by her workload, and their conversations remained surface level, leaving Evelyn feeling even more isolated. Evelyn's physical condition was deteriorating. The hip fracture hadn't healed properly, and her mobility was increasingly limited. She relied on a walker to move around the house, her steps slow and deliberate, each movement a painful reminder of her failing body. Simple tasks, like taking out the trash or doing laundry, became monumental efforts, leaving her breathless and exhausted. The once meticulously kept house began to show signs of neglect. Dust settled on the furniture, dishes piled up in the sink, and the unkempt garden was slowly overtaken by weeds. It was a reflection of her inner turmoil, the physical decay mirroring the decay of her spirit. Financially, she was also struggling. Harold's pension and her social security barely covered her mounting medical bills and the cost of living. The little savings they had accumulated over the years were dwindling, and the thought of running out of money terrified her. She was trapped in a cruel bind. She was too frail to work but couldn't afford the care she needed. The irony was not lost on her. She, who had spent her entire life caring for others, was now unable to care for herself. One afternoon, while sorting through old papers, Evelyn stumbled upon a letter from David, dated over 2 years ago. It was a generic Christmas card, a form letter really, with a brief update